traditional, a bit more laid back, and everybody's just having a good time here. They're really good women. They're very beautiful, and they're easy to talk to.
Have you had any trouble communicating with them?
No, I have not. They're looking for loyalty, and they're looking for an actual relationship.
And how would that compare to women from the US?
There's a lot of women in the US that are wanting open relationships, or, they always think the grass is greener on the other side, so they're quick to, end a relationship and move on. I've noticed the last two events, there's about 60 to 70 women here, so it gives you a lot of opportunity to meet different women with different backgrounds.
Okay, now that you've had this second night, how does it compare to yesterday when you had your first night here?
I'm actually getting a little bit more used to talking with ladies and, being a bit more comfortable. First night, it's a lot to take in, a lot of noise, a lot of laughter. So tonight I'm, able to parse that out a little bit more.
And now that you've had your first taste of meeting Costa Rican women and experiencing talking to them, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting to know some of them on the coming dates and just kind of see where things go from there.
And what would you like other gentlemen to know as they consider signing up for a social?
They should definitely do it. Don't waste your time, sending letters to these women for long periods of time. It may not work out, so you're just best to go meet the women as soon as possible. Pick a country and go to it and, just see if you like it. There are options. This is my first one, first tour. I'm here in Costa Rica. If it doesn't pan out, I've got Peru. I could go to the Philippines. I could go to, Ukraine. So it gives me an opportunity to really find what I'm looking for out there with different cultures.
And so what would you say to another AFA tour?
I would definitely go. I would actually go to Ukraine if the war wasn't on at this point, but it's kind of a little too dangerous for me.
Is this your first time visiting Costa Rica?
Yes, my first time in Costa Rica.
And why did you decide to come to Costa Rica?
I was looking for a new experience with a new culture. I understand that the ladies here have family values and faith in God, so I find that attractive. Women in America are good, but at my age, they are not interested in serious relationships. It's much more amenable here to developing relationships with young ladies.
And what are your thoughts about Costa Rican culture in general so far?
Costa Rican culture seems good. I'm not an expert by any means, but I appreciate their family values and their consistent faith in God.
Has it been easy to communicate with the women here?
Yeah, it's been pretty easy and very enjoyable.
All right, now that you've had 2 nights of the event, how did they compare the first night to the second?
Second night we had more energy, seems like, but both nights were good. Both nights had connections, with certain ladies, and it was worthwhile. Very good experience.
And what did you think about?
Guys, welcome back to Monday Night Webcast. It's good to see you. Today, as always, I'm going to be answering all your questions about international dating and marriage. And we do have a poll question for you tonight. The question is, are you any closer to dating foreign women this year than last year? So send in your answers, let's talk about it. And of course, I want to start with reminding you about our upcoming seminars. We have a seminar in Florida, May 16th in Miami. London, July 18th in Los Angeles, California, August 23rd. So don't wait till last moment. RSVP, we're looking forward, John and Tanya mostly, but who knows. We're looking forward to seeing you at those seminars. It's very informative. It's 4 hours event. So John and Tanya are going to be telling you how everything works. You can ask your questions. There are going to be some returning clients that can share their experience. Some of the couples that been through the process and can also share their experience. So it's a great way to also meet people. So if you're thinking about doing a tour, you can meet someone who also wants to travel the same destination. So you can find your wingman right there. So don't wait till last moment again. And we do have several upcoming singles tours. So we have Costa Rica tour starting in a few days. Okay, maybe a little too late to join, although it's never too late. We do have Medellin tour March 5th, so plenty of time for you to decide if you want to go to Colombia and meet beautiful Colombian ladies. And of course, Bangkok, Thailand tour March 26th. And the great thing about that tour is that bonus part where we're gonna have a Chinese social. So we're gonna have 2 events with Thai ladies, and the third one, ladies from China, gonna be flying to meet you. So they're paying for their own airfare. They're so excited to meet you. So they're willing to travel to another country to meet you. So if you didn't know what you want to do, if you want to go to Thailand or China, that's a great combination. Also, you can do a dual tour, Thailand and China. So you do the full Thailand tour, and if you're somehow still not in love, which will be very difficult to do, but somehow you're still not in love, then you can travel to China and have a few more social events there and meet Chinese ladies in Shenzhen. So something to think about it. And we do have, so speaking of which, we have really great testimonials and some videos from our previous Bangkok tour. So let's go to that.
I'm from Washington State, Liberty Lake, Washington. I fondled onto FA, just browsing the website and everything. It's like, okay, let me check this out. And all of a sudden I just saw a beautiful woman. I'm single, why not? It wouldn't hurt. Then more and more I get into it, watch videos, talk about Asia. I always had a thing for Asia. So China was my first choice. And COVID hit, it's like, okay, I had a default plan. Thailand, why not? I saw a video about Thailand, this recent video. I'm going there. So with my online travel agent credentials, I booked my ticket and everything else, stayed in contact with the FA of the Phoenix office, make sure it was good and kosher and everything. And when I arrived here in this month, as of April, I was in shock. It's like, wow, there's people here, friendly, beautiful women. I mean, it's out of this world. It's hard to explain. And the word being said is mind-blowing. Truly it. And when I got to, meantime, leading to the social, I got here early, had some fun. When we got to the social, man, I was speechless. Speechless. Beautiful woman, more than a man can handle. And it was awesome. I was like, I didn't get a chance to take off anything, clothes extra, because the heat was so hot. They were hopping. And man, that's all I can just pretty much say is mind blowing. It's fascinating. For me, I love culture. I love everything about it. The people, hospitality, and they're so friendly and generous. I mean, from the FA staff all the way down, just not top notch. I mean, I can't ask nothing more. Each woman have their own personality, but you gotta find one that fits you, matches with you. And I believe I have found that matches me and my personality, my vibe. And I didn't have that with my ex-wives, but I found that what matches me. First day I laid my eyes on her last table of the social on a Saturday. I dressed down and we introduced ourselves. She was just chilling. She had no friends. She was down by herself, just enjoying the moment. She never thought she was going to get picked out by the translator to talk to me. Then we just hit it off like that. Just then, everything I said, she was right on. Every match of vibe, and just like, wow, this is a girl that matches me, and there's something about her. It just drew me to her. I'm attracted to her. It's like, okay, this is the girl I want. I have to find more about her. I have to more up a conversation with her. Like, just be totally inclined with her. It has been top notch. I mean, the communication's right on point. If you need something, if you got a question, they're willing to answer your questions. You may not have the answer that you want, but they have a backup plan to that question. So yeah, it's top notch. Everything you need, they got it for you. I think I just mentioned it before, mind blowing. And it was said before, mind blowing. That's the only word that came to my mind. If the opportunity presents itself, you might not see another opportunity like this again. Don't wait, because once the opportunity passes you by, you never get it again. Jump on it. Don't hesitate. Jump on it. It could change your life.
guys, is in Thailand beautiful, and of course the ladies are even more beautiful, so that should motivate you to get on a plane and go to meet those ladies in person. So let's get to your questions. Julian says, hello and good evening everyone, especially to AFA and all the wonderful work you do. Well, thank you, Julian, thank you for watching and thank you for appreciating the work we do. Ukraine Dave says, good evening all. And Julian says, to answer tonight's question, to answer tonight's question as the best I can, because it's a bit unclear, the answer is simply yes. Well, that's good. Scoob, on tours, what does the first time guys full timeline look like? From sign up to first event to follow-up dates? What's a great question. So you sign up, then within a couple of days we're gonna send you confirmation email. So remember, it's not gonna come to you instant. We need to process everything manually, make sure everything is good, and then Michelle, our group tour coordinator, is gonna send you paperwork for the tour, just basic stuff, terms and condition, form asking for your flight details, so we can arrange your pickup at the airport. So this way, when you arrive in a destination, you're not lost. You're all taken care of. You'll give us the list of ladies, one list that you want to invite to the social events, and the other list of ladies that you want to meet one-on-one. I'd recommend, if you're corresponding with someone and you have this list of special ladies you want to meet them one-on-one. Don't invite them to the social. Just the whole point of going to social is being open-minded, meeting as many people as you can. And if you meet a lady you've been corresponding at the social, so much, and you just want to focus on her, you're gonna spend too much time with her, and you won't get a chance to talk to other 100 ladies at the social. So defeats the whole purpose. And what else? And then you travel, to your destination. As I said, we're gonna have a driver meeting you at the airport. He's gonna have a sign with your name, or it will say AFA, depends. He will take you to the hotel. Hotel is included, and then you're gonna meet our staff. We're gonna have, in most of the places, we have the orientation the same day, the same night the tour starts. So our staff will tell you how everything works, what to expect, local cultures, traditions, go through the whole tour agenda. In most of the places, socials are held on Friday and Saturday, so tours always start on Thursday, socials on Friday and Saturday, exception Ukraine, that we can change sometimes. It can be Friday and Sunday, just depending on the situation. But again, you're gonna have a tour agenda before you go. And also we're gonna do a conference call with all the tour guides and your tour leader and possibly the local staff before you go. Usually that's done like a week prior, plus minus. So if you have any questions, last minute preparations like currency exchange, adapters, just this travel necessities, we're gonna be there to help you. And of course you can always call Michelle, the group tour coordinator. She can answer those questions for you at any time. So you arrive, you have orientation. Friday morning you have a breakfast at the hotel. It's where you can meet the guys again, that your tour mates. Make some friends at the breakfast. That's a great thing about the tours, that the guys sit down every morning at breakfast. I mean, if you don't want to socialize, you don't have to, but usually that's what guys do. They just sit down at the same table, several tables, depending on the breakfast place layout, and just chat about their experience, how the travel been, if they met any ladies, just share their stories. It's very, very helpful. Imagine, so you make those friends. They meet their fiance, you meet your fiance. You're gonna be your support network throughout the process. When you file for visa, you can ask them how it's going. They can make some recommendations. And when your fiancés arrive in the States, maybe they can become friends. So it also will help them to adjust to their new life in the United States. So socials Friday, Saturday night, and of course you can have individual dates at any time. Our staff will pre-schedule a couple of dates for you to start with. So if you want to meet one or two ladies before the social begin, you have plenty of time to do that. Just don't be late for the socials, keep track of time. And at the socials, you exchange phone numbers with all the ladies that you like. Your interpreter, your assistant can help you with that in case if you're shy and don't know how to ask for the phone number. And then we're gonna be scheduling dates. So some dates, if you want, you can schedule yourself, but I would recommend to coordinate again with a staff member who's gonna be assigned to you, who's coordinate all your dates, so we don't double book you. So she can schedule meeting with one lady and you didn't know about it, and you schedule meeting with a different lady at the same time. Again, we don't want that to happen, so stay in touch with the staff constantly. And again, they're gonna be at the hotel, and for the most of the tours, we have the conference room at the hotel where the staff is located. So 9 a.m. you just go down there and they're gonna be waiting for you, and they stay pretty late, 7, 8 o'clock, and so many times, to make sure if you have a late night date, you're not lost or anything. And even after hours, you can reach out to our staff on their cell phones. They still answer. Again, don't call them 2 o'clock in the morning unless it's something serious. Not like, don't call them, oh, I lost my lighter, 2 a.m. Please don't do that. But if it's something serious, definitely call them. They will be happy to help. So you do that for the remaining of your tours. In a lot of tours we offer different excursions, and some it's included, some not. It just depends on the situation. And that's it. If you want to stay after the tour, you can always extend your hotel stay and pay to the hotel directly for your extra nights, or you can talk to Michelle and she can help you with that. And then you stay for as long as you can, and then you travel back home. And hopefully you already have some special ladies in mind that you want to get to know better, and something's going in the direction of fiancé visa. So hopefully that answers your question. Richard, what does the all-in cost eventually end up being for first trip? Well, it really depends. Like even the flight will vary in the destination. It can be as low as $300 round trip, can be, up to $1,500 if we're talking about economy, depending on destination, time of the year, and if it's a peak season or not. So flight will vary. If we're talking about group tours, tour cost will, it's between $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the tour for most of our tours. If that's out of your budget, you can always do individual tours. Those are much cheaper, or just arrange individual introduction. That's even cheaper. So there's something for every budget. There is a way to do it more budget friendly if a group tour is not something you financially can do in this current situation. So there are ways to do it. And fiancé, so hopefully you meet the lady you like. Well, interpretation service fee is obviously also a factor, whether she speaks English, if you need to hire an interpreter, if you need to pay for her English classes, so that also can vary. And fiancé visa, it's what you're probably gonna spend, I would say with all the fees, the government fees, and the medical exams and all that stuff is probably gonna be close to $2,000 by the time you set it down for the fiancé visa. So yeah. But again, sounds like a lot of money all at once, but you're not paying all this all at once. You start with your airfare and a tour, and the group tours include hotel, so at least you don't need to worry about that. And one step at a time, just plan your further steps, because you're still gonna be dating the lady you meet. You're probably I'm assuming you're not gonna propose on the third date. It takes time, so I would say, most of the couples start talking about engagement after 3 to 6 months of dating. Exception Ukraine, the courtship process usually longer, and as exception Philippines, there people tend to commit to engagement pretty fast usually. But again, it's very individual. That's why it's really hard for me to give a ballpark of what to expect financially. It's kind of basically asking so how much do you expect to spend on a car? Well, Bentley and Ford are different prices, so it just really depends. Let's see, we have more questions. Angelo says, if a man wants a marriage-focused outcomes, what should he do definitely before he travels? Have a game plan. So prepare financially for this, as we talked about. You still need some financial resources to go through the process, including fiancé visas, possible trips to follow up to see her, spend time together. So think about that. Think about your vacation time again, to make sure you have enough vacation time to follow up and spend time with her. Because if you have 7 days a year you can take off, and you spend all those 7 days on a tour, you can't return till 2027. It's gonna be very hard to make those relationships work. So just think about it. Make sure you're available, to follow up on that. So those are probably two key, most important things you need to think about before doing the tour. It's one thing to meet that special person, but the second thing is to make it all happen. Nick, what's the most common first 10 minutes emotional reaction you see in American men at their first event? They're scared, they freeze. Because most of the guys haven't been in the room with 200 beautiful ladies all at once, and everybody's nice and friendly, want to get to know you. Can be very overwhelming, so you don't know how to react. So it takes a little time, and that's why we always have a staff member assigned to each guy who will be there to kind of pushing them. Go meet this lady. If I'm not sure how to do it, I'll help you, but just stand all night at the bar, sipping on your beer, and don't socialize. You came here to meet people, well, then go meet people. So yeah. After that, for some guys, it takes 10 minutes. For some guys, it takes 30 minutes. For some, it can take an hour, but for those, just having the staff member really push the guys. You don't want to waste time. Social event flies by. It's 4 hours. You think it's a lot of time, but think how many people in the room you need to talk to, exchange phone numbers. You need to get to know them a little bit, at least, spend 5 minutes. with each lady that you like at the very least. Bruce says, how do men handle rejection on these tours compared to in US? Well, I would say, of course, not all ladies going to be interested in you. It's just nature. 200 ladies will not fall in love with you as soon as you walk in the room. It's just unrealistic. So some will be interested, some not. But how they go about telling you they're not interested is very different compared to the United States. So it's much softer, more gentle, more polite. Most likely they're not even going to say it to your face. You're going to have a nice conversation, and if you're unsure, you can always send your interpreter or your staff member to talk to the lady, and she can explain, hey, yeah, ask her how she feels. So she can say, yeah, Bill is a really nice guy, but I just didn't feel, chemistry, and, your interpreter will pass the message to you gently. And again, there is nothing wrong with, somebody not being interested in you, but that's just the way they say it. I think it's a big factor. Aaron says, one second, Aaron. Aaron, how often do relationship work long term when the couple starts with limited shared language? Actually, as a last longer usually, I would say, because people put so much effort into getting to know each other. So it's not first of all, you don't speak the same language, so you have to think twice about what you're saying, how you're saying, to make sure there is no miscommunication. When you speak the same language, you just talk, and a lot of things can go wrong when you think about your words, and you read your messages sometimes twice before sending to her, and vice versa, to make sure there is no errors and everything sounds correct. She would appreciate that you care about it so much, and vice versa. So it helps people to get to know each other better on so many levels. And again, it's also difficult to have a fight when you don't speak the same language. You can always blame it on the some language miscommunication. So at least it works in the beginning. Of course, once you start speaking English, you cannot use that anymore. But in the first few months of your relationship, it will help, and she will appreciate you helping her with her learning English. Maybe you'll help her sign up for English classes. Of course, she'll expect you to pay for it. Unless it's China, that's a whole different animal. But for most of the countries, she'll expect you to pay for the English classes, and she'll appreciate your support and helping her with her homework, so she gets to know the language before she comes here. So basically, it's about all the effort a couple puts into making this relationship work. So that's what makes those relationships last. Next question, let's see. James says, how do women typically think about work independence and life in the US? Well, majority of ladies, majority that I talk to throughout the years, says they definitely want to work or do something out of the house, and most of ladies don't want to stay at home and just be a stay-at-home mom. It's important to have at least some kind of hobby, or maybe volunteer work or part-time. So if finance is not a factor in the family, and the man totally can provide for all the family needs, a woman still wants to do something, because those ladies come from the cultures where they just work a lot, working 2-3 jobs. They're always on the go, and if they go to simple home routine and change their life to that just will drive them crazy. So it's important for them not to lose their identity and continue doing something, whatever it is, and you can help them figure out doing what they're doing. And of course, if financial situation requires them to contribute in the income, usually ladies are just fine with that. Just keep in mind, because they're going to be new immigrants in this country, they won't be able to contribute much, because simply they won't be able to get that great job. So even if she was a lawyer in her home country, when she comes here, well, she's really nobody, because her law degree is not transferable to this country. She has to start from the beginning. So it's something you would need to talk to her, before she comes. It's a very important conversation. Philip, poll question. Closer than last year, because I finally mapped the budget. Passport renewed, PTO approved, now I'm just choosing city and locking flights and hotel. Great, so you do have a plan, that's the best part. David says, as for the poll question, I would say yes, I could be extremely close to dating a foreign lady if the war ends this year in Ukraine. Well, don't let the war stop you. See, there are still so many ways to do it. We have group tours that's sold out. I mean, even the July tour already sold out. Which, guys, still looks like I'm gonna be leading the July tour, which I learned last week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So hey, it doesn't stop me. I'm going to Ukraine. Now, why does it stop? Should stop you? Things we do for love. So guys going to Ukraine all the time. So the war already, it's almost 4 years since the war began, and we don't know if it's gonna be going for a year or 2 or 4 or 5. So you really don't want to wait another 5 years. And before you go, to Ukraine, nobody's getting any younger, and especially if you're writing to someone, there's only so long the ladies be willing to wait for you. So maybe if you're not comfortable entering Ukraine, okay, I understand that. So talk to your lady about meeting her outside of Ukraine, Moldova, Poland. Find some middle ground. If you have good connections, she'll agree to travel. Just agree to something. Or you can also consider just going to Poland. There are a lot of ladies that relocated from Ukraine, Poland, Germany. It's a little bit more complicated because it's not like they live all in the same cities. They're all over the map. So if you're writing to 2-3 ladies, most likely they're going to be like 3-4 hours apart from each other. So you have to spend their significant time and travel in that country from city to city to meet them all. But other than the logistical challenge, it's not that bad. So think about it. Again, don't wait, don't delay your life. You're not gonna get a second life. Right? Lou says, poll question. Honestly, no. I keep researching and price comparing, but I still haven't committed to a date. I need a real plan, not more tabs open. Exactly. So close those tabs. I mean, you can keep them open, but decide what area you're interested in and start looking at the dates. Looking at your finances, see how you can make it happen, which way of meeting ladies work for you the best. And again, I said that some guys are on a budget and they just want to do only a few introductions. That's but we can do that. We can make that happen too, and that's really not that expensive. So there are options. Lisa says, "Hey Anna, how's the process deleting my profile account? I don't know if you submitted a request. If you haven't submitted your request, please send an email to customercare@lovememail.com. Customercare@lovememail.com. Brianna will delete that for you and just to give her. Usually it takes 24 to 48 business hours after you submit the request. Although if you send it over weekend, she was out today, so that might delay things. But yeah, if you haven't sent an email, please send an email to Brianna. The next one was SR Gross says, waiting for my passport. Well, hopefully it's gonna come soon. Felix says, what's a moment where a matchmaker had to step in and tell someone the truth? Well, there's so many of those moments. Our matchmakers, our staff, been doing it for years. Most of them been doing it for 10-15 years, and they can see. You can see if there is. There is no really they don't see any future in this. Yeah, couple keeps going on dates, but ladies really not that interested. So I can tell she's just not. She can enjoy a man's company. See him as a friend. But if it's not gonna go any further, they're gonna tell him. Think about it. It's our opinion, but maybe you should consider other options and meet other ladies. Quite so many times guys don't listen to that advice and they still keep focusing, trying to date this woman, even though she doesn't show any signs of affection. It's been 5 dates and she still doesn't let you hold her hand, which is already an obvious sign that there is no physical attraction and there is nothing there. But guys, keep pushing. So listen to our staff advice. Or if the staff suspect, see some red flags, like they think, the lady's into this for money. So gonna definitely share their opinion on that subject. It's up to you if you want to take advice or not. But we're definitely gonna tell you that if there was a suspect of something going on. And of course, if a guy treats a lady disrespectfully, our staff, two leaders gonna talk to a guy, say, hey, it's not the way to talk to ladies. I did have some very rude gentlemen on the tour and or offering different things to ladies that were very, very not appropriate, let's put it this way. So yes, in those cases our staff has to step in and defend the ladies, because ladies need to be treated with respect, guys. So remember that. So just because, you know, you travel into another country, it's not a sex tour. People there for, you know, serious motives, they're looking for husbands. It's just, you know, so treat them with respect. That's all I have to say on this. All right. Team, what's the most important truth about safety that new guys refuse to accept? Safety. I mean, usually we don't have issues with safety on tours or guys traveling somewhere. Just okay, like everywhere, you use your common sense. You know, our group tours stay in good hotels in good part of town, in the tourist areas. So usually it's pretty safe. If ladies suggest to travel, you know, somewhere way out of town or far away from this area, talk to our staff, get their opinion on this situation before committing to, you know, to trip to unknown area. Of course, try not to walk around middle of the night by yourself with you know, pockets full of cash and flash a jewelry, flash a watch. You know, just dress a little bit more modest. You know, if you have Rolex, keep it in euros, you know, in the hotel safe. So other than that, yeah, just listen to our staff advice when you arrive. They're gonna, you know, give you a few basic rules. In most of the places, if Uber is available, I'd recommend taking Uber over just average cab that you pick up on the street, because just safer, you know, because something, you know, something happens, something goes wrong, you can always contact Uber support, call us, of course, contact Uber support, and they have identity of the driver's passport. So whether it's a lost phone, you know, you can reach out to Uber and retrieve your item, or, you know, or if not Uber, but whatever, any local provider like Grab, you know, depending on what country you go in, there's different apps for that. But yeah, use rideshare app for your travel. That's my advice. I remember even on the last tour, as I mentioned the last phone, you know, on the last tour, so somebody was on Uber coming back from a social, of course, left the phone in the cab. So we, you know, we called the driver. 20 minutes later, the driver brought the phone back to the hotel. He didn't really want to accept the money. I believe we still paid the guy, but, you know, it was nice of him to return the item free of charge. So, and if it was a random cab, even if, you know, if your driver didn't mean any, you know, didn't mean any harm, but if you're, you know, the cab driver won't be able to access the phone, they won't be able to call you, notify you about the lost item, and you won't be able to call the cab driver because it's a random cab. So say goodbye to your phone or your wallet. If you lost it, you lost it. Next question. Eddie says, what's the single best habit for men entering this world? Be friendly and positive when you meet ladies or people in general. Just be friendly with everybody. With staff, it starts with the staff, so be nice to your staff, be nice to ladies, to interpreters, and everything's gonna go very nice and smooth. Everybody will be willing to go extra mile. You know, sometimes Americans just go to other countries with this American attitude that if I'm gonna scream, yelling loud, I'm gonna get everything I want, you know, bring me the manager, you know, I'm gonna yell at you and threaten you. And no, it doesn't work in foreign countries like this. People actually shut down. You're gonna get the absolute opposite of what you're trying to achieve. So be nice to everybody. SR Gross says, what should the dress code for the man be? Well, it depends. You can see some footage right now. So a lot of guys are wearing suits, and so if weather permits, you know, suit is definitely very nice. I mean, if you're going to Philippines, okay, it's a little too hot for that, too humid, so you might not be very comfortable with that. So check the weather forecast of the place that you're going to. And if you're not comfortable in a suit, well, that dress shirt and slacks or nice jeans. So make sure it's all clean, not wrinkled. Make sure, you know, you have a fresh haircut, you know, you smell nice. It's very, very important, guys. Please remember, put some cologne. It is very attractive for the ladies. Dave's RV channel. The Ukraine tours sell out fast. Why not add more tours? well, there's still war going on. There's only so many we can handle at this time, given the situation. Still, logistically, it's very challenging for us. You guys don't notice how much stuff going behind the scenes, but we also need to be able to get enough ladies for the social. So, for example, we had to reschedule a March tour to April because of the power situation with electricity in Ukraine. You know, there's power outages in Kiev and some, you know, for like 20 hours at a time. So imagine if and it's minus whatever temperature on the street. They don't have heat in houses, so when you have to sit in a house where you cannot take a shower, quite often you cannot even go to the bathroom because water doesn't run as well. So it's like camping in the North Pole with no modern conveniences, and you have electricity for 4 hours a day. So you're trying to charge your phone, you know, cook some meals if you can, and just try to stay alive in survival mode. Going to a social and looking beautiful is really not your top priority. So the ladies, and a lot of ladies also left Kiev and went to, you know, different places where it's a little bit better with the power outages. So yeah, we had to reschedule the social for that reason. So imagine how difficult it is for us to find those 150 ladies for each social that will attend. So if we have more socials, it's going to be even harder for us. So right now we're not in a position to do good old socials with 300-400 ladies at each event. So we can do 150 ladies, and that's why we also can bring more guys. We don't want to bring 40 guys and it's going to be, you know, 100 ladies at the social. The guys can also not going to be happy. So it's, you know, it's what it is. Okay. Michael says, what's the most dramatic moment you've seen at a social? Well, I would need to think on that. You know, I've been doing it for 15 years. I mean, I've seen a lot. Some girls were fighting over a guy. That was definitely amusing. Some champagne was involved too, so those were a little bust. So yeah, 2 drunk girls fighting over a guy was amusing. A little MMA style. Luckily we have security who can deal with that kind of stuff. Another from SR Gross, he says many local community colleges offer English classes. Yes, absolutely, and a lot of them either free or for very small fee, like $100, $200. So you definitely, you know, everybody can afford that. Joe says, I have a question. It's tied to the poll question. What economic class our tour clients are expected to be in? Upper class, upper middle class, middle class? Well, on tours we really do have a variety of guys, so there's no expectations. You know, we had just anything from truck drivers to CEOs of the companies. It's just a wild mix of people with different backgrounds. So there was, you know, so as long as attending tour is not gonna break your budget, because again, you still need to be financially ready for what comes after the tour. That involves doing the fiancé visa paperwork and traveling, and then doing your green card. So just so your, you know, financial background is really not that important as long as you can do it. Gojo says, question, do you recommend the Ukraine tour now while the war is still going on, or waiting until the war is over to go? Can we expect the price to remain the same after the war? Well, I don't think it's gonna go any cheaper. I mean, did you go to grocery stores? You saw prices, nothing's getting cheaper. So you know, our operational costs are going higher. You know, so it is what it is. So I don't expect any prices to go down for the tours. And as far as I'm thinking, you know, if you're thinking about doing a tour now, do it now. I mean, again, tours are sold out till November. If you want, you can join a wait list and see if we do have usually 1 or 2 last-minute cancellation because somebody cannot attend a tour for whatever reason, some family emergency or something like that. So you can get on the wait list for either April or July tour, see what happens, see if we can accommodate you. If not, then don't delay, sign up for November tour. I mean, we hope that the war will be over, but of course, you know, we've been hoping for the longest time, and I really don't see it. I mean, there was no, you know, no progress made in that. Still keeps going. So why wait? Brickstone says, have fun in Ukraine. I'd so much like to go. Well, do it. You know. So I'm gonna be doing July tour and November tour. So if I don't see you in July, there is always November. George, poll question. No, I got to the age, then back off because I'm not clear on the long distance cadence and expectations after the trip. Well, as long as you find the, that right lady, it's possible to make things happen. You stay it's important to stay in touch. You're talking on video calls all the time. You send each other messengers. So it's not like you met her and that's it. No communication. You send her one email a week. Yes, of course your relationship will not survive through that. But as long as two people, willing to make it work, there are so many ways to make it work. Bridgestone, I was enjoying the social very much, so much that I was not getting phone numbers, and then it ended. Lesson learned. Exactly, that's what I was saying. It looks like 4 hours supposed to be a long time, but it flies by because you have to talk to a lot of people, and if you don't collect phone numbers and you come to our staff the next day asking, give me phone number of Olga in black dress, or I don't know. First of all, we don't even know, which Olga. There was 20 Olgas, and we're sitting at registration desk the entire time, so we don't remember which one had the black dress, so we won't be able to track it back. So make sure you collect all the phone numbers while you can. Ashan, hello, Anna, going to Peru next month for 3 weeks. It's time. Well, is it engagement time? Another one, SR Gross says, question, I'm interested only in mature women 45 plus. If this initiative is set up on a tour, well, it's not an issue. Just let me know which tour, what country you're thinking about. There's in some countries it might be better to do individual tour, and it just depends on the country really. So talk to us. Shan says the Peru tour was great for me. Only reason I went there after doing the Philippines tours is because John Adams said Peru was one of the favorite places and the marriage success rate was highest. It is. Peru is our hidden gem, guys. Definitely recommend to go to that tour. And Joe says, you guys better think twice about those English classes at community college. She might get too friendly with one of your classmates. Well, with that logic, then don't let her out of the house. Don't let her go grocery store because she can meet the man at the aisle of, of Kroger's. Don't let her to go to work. She can like your co-worker. Just lock her in the basement. That will be definitely safe options. But as far as that classmates at community college classes, my father, when he came to the United States, I brought him over for some period of time, and so he signed up for those classes. I'm very familiar. So in his English classes, he didn't have any Russians or Ukrainians, so he didn't have any Eastern Europeans whatsoever. So he had some people from Africa, some people from India, some people from Asia, from basically all over the map. Nobody spoke English. It was very interesting how they all come from different backgrounds, try to communicate with each other. Yeah, he was only Eastern European there, and everybody was different, and ages were like anywhere, from 18 to 70. It just was a very diverse group of people. But even again, if you feel threatened by that, then you might think about it a little bit more before you proceed with meeting a lady. There's something to think about. Anyway, guys, I think that was our last question for tonight. Yes, that was it. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sending your questions. We will be back next Monday with more answers for you. Good night.